Alrighty, so this is not a Harley Davidson. No. This is the KTM Adventure 790R model. So the R model is different to the S model of KTM 790 adventure bikes. It's the more dirt-focused bike. It's got the upgraded WP suspension. These are the Explore suspension set that you find on the enduro bikes. We've also got the front fender as well. So this bike is predominantly for the riders who are off-road and have to deal with street to get to those off-road spots. That sounds like me. As you know, I ride a Harley Davidson Sport Glide. The thing is a beast on the street. But I'm in the market now for a mid-sized adventure bike to take out on some awesome off-road adventures, to get to the places that I can't get to on my Harley and tap into my motocross roots, get back on the dirt. And I used to race KTM motorcycles when I was racing motocross. It only seemed logical that the first bike I'd go to for an adventure bike is from KTM. What makes this bike stand out, apart from its class-leading suspension, is the way that it stores its fuel. We've got saddlebag fuel tanks hanging low here on the bike. Now these hold 20 liters, which is pretty good amount of fuel, but it also brings the weight, the center of gravity, down to the bottom of the bike, making it super balanced. I haven't ridden motocross for 5 to 8 years or so, but as soon as I jumped on this bike and got off-road, I felt at home, I felt comfortable. I could feel the bike really handling the environment really well. And that's really where I'm trying to focus my attention to these bikes, is in the off-road performance. Because again, I don't really want to be riding on street as much as possible when it comes to getting on a bike like this. I really want to be off-road. My Harley is for the street riding. And holy shit, this bike is so much fun off-road. To get the negatives out the way, they were really on the way to this off-road riding spot that I found. So on the street, I found that the bike was a little bit cramped, a bit uncomfortable. My legs felt a bit pulled back. The brake pads, the shifter pegs, all those are really tiny for my big boot. And that was really annoying me. But as soon as I got off-road, I was standing up on the pegs. That's when I felt this bike really start to fit me. Now, there's a whole bunch of different rider modes that can be played around with. To get here, I was just in a normal kind of street mode with all the ABS on. But jumping off-road, I went straight to the off-road setting for the ABS. So that keeps ABS enabled on the front brake, but turns off the rear brake ABS, allowing you to get that back end sliding out. I also changed the throttle response to rally mode, making sure that throttle snaps on straight away. And finally, I've got my traction control set down to 4. And what that does is it allows the back end to come out a bit. The traction control isn't fully off. So just as I'm kind of getting used to the bike, seems to be a nice level to sit. The bike just feels really balanced. It handles the bumps really well, handles the corners nicely. Like I said, I'm getting used to being back on the dirt, and the fact that I can just jump on and feel comfortable after 7 years or so of not racing motocross, that says something about this bike. I'm really quite surprised. If you want a full breakdown of the bike, if you want to look at the specs, if you want to know the ins and outs of this motorcycle, then this is not the place to learn that. You can find all that information on their website, and there's other channels that like to go through the specs. I just like to get on the bike and ride it and see how it makes me feel. That's really kind of how I bought my Harley Davidson over any other motorcycle, and it's going to be how I choose the adventure bike that's right for me. All I can say is that jumping on this KTM, particularly in the off-road space, it put a huge smile on my face, quicker than any bike possibly ever has, apart from maybe my Harley. But it's definitely on par with that for whole different reasons. But this bike feels really good. It feels balanced. It feels like I can definitely grow into this bike with my skill set. as I start to kind of wipe the dust off from my motocross skills. And I don't know, I think the bar's been set.